Okay, we're back again to the next lecture, and here's how our content goes. So we want the next statement, and we call it switch case STMT, like that, for our switch case statement. So here's how our content goes. We want to be able to create a setup where we can be able to see how we use the statement, or how we can use each of our statements. So in this particular case, I will work with the general layout of a switch statement, and I'll also add some content that we can use to make our switch case statement pretty much work. So we can be able to do it in the following manner. Let's say we want to have a different statement plus our switch case statement. Okay, so we want to create a mini program whereby we want to use the following attributes. So we've got int x, y, and z. We'll be able to use them where we see fit. So like we said, we want a mini program. So our mini program will be as follows. Okay, the first thing that we want to do is we want to please choose your option, like that. And then with our option, we want to be able to state the output that we want. So the first output is as follows. We want to be able to say first statement is character switch. Like that. Let's put an end line so that we end the line well. And then the next one we want to see out, and this we want this to be an integer switch, like that. And then we put our end line, and this then gives us the difference between the two values. So if you remember, we've also worked with cin, which we haven't been using quite a lot, and we want to be able to get the value of x. So to get that value of x, first of all, we'll start working with an if statement, and our if statement will be as follows. If x equals 1, then we want the following. And then if x equals 2, then we want the following, like that. So which then means we've got our two options that are there. Okay, but at the same time, we want to be able to control how our program works. So we're going to be working with a switch case statement, but we're going to add new values so that we can be able to go to a specific element. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do now is we want a switch case statement that is a character. Okay, excuse me for the spelling, I might have actually spelled that wrong. So this then becomes character switch. Should be character switch, and then the next one is a integer switch. Integer switch, like that. So what this then means, now we want to then be able to work with our switch. So we said a character and an integer. Okay. For our character, we now need to add certain things. We still have X and we still have Y and Z up there. We'll still need to figure out a way of actually using them within our project. If not, we'll remove them as is fit. Okay, so we need a character, and our character can be N for character. And then we need to now specify what we want to choose as a switch. Okay, we want to be able to do the following. Okay, let's say we want to get to the closing of a program. Do you want to close the program? Okay, we put our brackets. Y, yes, N, no, like that. Okay, Y for yes, N for no. So we put our end line, and then we want to get a CN. So we want the user to be able to input something, and then when we get that input, we want to then be able to switch. Okay, so to do that, we put a C in, and then we get the value of N, and then when we get the value of N, we now use our switch statement like that. We open and close brackets, we put an N. Within our switch statement is where we'll then have our case. Okay, so in this particular case, we've got a character. So we don't now need to have a case with those values. So we've got yes, and we want a case for the opposite, which is N, and then we want a defaults like that. Okay, see out, wrong input, and then we put an end line like that, and then there we put a break, and then we want to be able to have whatever option we want to do. So no should take us to a specific option, yes should take us to a specific option. So if we choose no, we're supposed to proceed with our project. If we choose yes, we're supposed to proceed with our project. So let's just say see out, and then this becomes yes, end line, and then we say also see out, and then this becomes no. Put an end line like that. So this then means after getting this, we might need to go to a specific element. So let's put a new statement that we call a go-to statement. So our go-to statement will make it go to two different areas. If it's a yes, we want it to go to this portion here where it starts there. So we want to be able to put a go-to, which pretty much is a statement. So we can then say yes here is what we want our go-to statement to be. So we'll then state that point, go to yes here, like that. So in other words, we're then saying we want, if we select here, we want to go to yes here. If we select no, we want to go to no here. Okay, we want our no here to take us there, so it's no here, and then we put a colon. So this is what we're referring to as a go-to statement, whereby if we select it, we want to be able to go to a specific element. So let's see the first part, then we go into the next part, then we can end our lesson. So if I run, okay, do I have an issue there? Expected before, identify expected before token. Okay, is there? Okay, there's a bit of a challenge there. Okay, yes, here exists. No, here exists. Okay. Expected before token. Okay, maybe let's just remove the go-to for now. We'll return back to it at a later stage. We just want to see how our switch statement works. Okay, so when we run our project, it tells us that character switch is what we want, which is 1. Yes or no? Yes. We get to yes, and then we're good to go. Okay. We can also run it again to see if the no works. So first we select character switch, we select N. Okay, no works as well. So that's pretty much what we want to work with. So our go-to, I think the way we have actually used it could be wrong. So we'll fix it a little bit later. Let's get into our integer switch, which pretty much gives us more or less the same concept as we had before. So we want to be able to work with Y and Z. Okay. Okay, we then do it this way. We then want to be able to say the following using integers. Okay, so we want to see out where we do the following. Do you want to close program? Okay, that then becomes the question, end line, and then our end line will then give us a cin, and our cin, we want it to give the value for our y, like that, or we want to get the value for y. So we use a switch statement as well. In our switch statement, we use our y, and then in this particular case now we want to have case statements, and then when we're working with numbers, we want to be able to actually just put the number and then the colon, the content, which is our cout, and then a break, like that. So what that then means now is, here's how we actually work with our cout for an integer value. Okay, we do the same for our case 2, and we do the following. We want to close the program. 1 is for yes and 2 is for no. So yes and then no, like that. So what this then means is we've got our case statement. We can also just copy this one as it is, copy, and then paste, like that. Okay, when we have pasted that, we can now be able to use the second bit of our program. So integer switch, 1, yes, run it again, select true for integer switch, 2 for no, and then it works. So in other words, this is how we work with our switch statement for both character and integer. Okay, but now we want to be able to work with our goto. Okay, so our goto, I think we're having a challenge because we are trying to put it in different perspectives or in different elements. Okay, let's try and put it this way. At this point, we want to say go to here. Okay, here doesn't exist, so let's try and put our here up there, here, like that. Let's see if we run our project.